Selena,
Aaron.
we talk about slowing down, calming the nervous system, resting more.
And it's necessary until it's not.
Because sometimes people aren't anxious,
They're stagnant.
flat, foggy, they're heavy.
And if you apply calming practices there, things don't improve.
They sink.
That's where Brahmana comes in.
It's not stimulation, it's nourishment through expansion. I've practiced yoga consistently for over 10 years now, and I know that the most important part of building consistency is community. Other people to hold you accountable. And second to that is a solid practice plan to help you experience the true benefits of the practice. And this is exactly why I created the app. It's a free study tool to help you learn the Sanskrit and the philosophy of yoga. Plus, it's the home to our online community, which we call Sadhana Sangha. Every single month, the team and I offer 5 practices, and I guide you through an Asana workshop as well as a subtle technique, and we translate a few lines of the Yoga Sutra together. It's honestly been my dream to create this app since I started teaching, because this is what I truly needed when I started practicing. So check it out in the show notes, or just search OMSOM in the App Store. That's OMSOM. Now, back to the episode. Welcome to the podcast. Today, we are exploring a energetic technique. Selena and I, we've been. There's been a theme in our conversations.
There has been.
We've explored Lanka. We've explored Samana.
Yes.
And today,
The final piece.
we'll be exploring Brahmana.
Mm.
Now, I think it's best for us to start with a story.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this one comes from the Upanishads. The Upanishads are a massive group of stories that teach us about all different parts of life and our yoga practice. But specifically, they tell us a lot about prana and the nourishing, enlivening force that prana is. Now, in one of these Upanishads, it's called the Katha Upanishad. There's a story of Nakateas. And this is a young sage, and he approaches Yama, the Lord of Death, and he's looking for some answers. But when he arrives, Yama isn't there. He's away for 3 days. And so when he comes back, Nakatea's been waiting, and Yama offers him 3 boons, 3 favors. I'll grant you 3 wishes because I was away for 3 days. And so he doesn't ask him to become enlightened. He doesn't ask him to be able to rest or have $1 million. But he asks him to teach him about the nature of the sacred fire that leads to vitality and clarity and dharmic living. So Yama responds by teaching him this specific fire practice, a technique in which the fire needs to be built and fed and tended in a very meticulous way. And so it makes this thing very clear that, like, the fire doesn't need to be suppressed. But in order to control the fire, you have to feed it. Yeah, you have to give it some fuel, and it's that fuel that allows it to burn properly. But you have to give it the right kind of fuel in the right amount, right?
Yeah.
You're not just going to pour gasoline straight over the fire because it's going to cause an explosion.
It's not the solution.
But a couple of spoons of ghee will allow that fire to burn in a way that's consistent and nourishing, bringing the light of awareness and the warmth that allows us to sustain our lives. And so this fire, this story about the fire, it speaks to the essence of what we're exploring today, which is this idea of Brahmana. So, what is Brahmana?
You tell me.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Let's explore it together.
So, Brahmana means, it comes from this root, which is br. And br means to grow or enlarge, to make something stronger, to speed something up, to create a little bit of friction. And so in yoga, this idea of Brahmana is any kind of practice that heats up the body and mind, that agitates perhaps a little bit,
Mm.
that creates a little bit of friction, that builds the heat, that builds the prana. And it is those energizing practices that create strength and clarity and excitement and our capacity to move forwards. Yeah. And so when we're talking about Brahmana, we're talking about, as we did with Lanka, an energetic effect of our yoga practice. And it is that energetic effect that speeds things up. Yeah?
Yeah.
Could think of it like that little bit of stress that we add into our yoga practice.
Mm.
But I think that it's really important to know that these energizing practices, and like when I say that to you, what kind of practices sort of come up in your mind? Energizing practices.
Just fast-paced practices,
Yep.
solar,
Yep.
fire practices,
Mhm.
just really fast-paced breathing,
Yep.
building breaths,
Yep.
prana, prana, prana.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Okay. And so we just need to make sure that we are not overdoing that to the point
Yeah.
where it agitates us.
Yeah.
Right? Because there is a tendency, especially for the pitta types, to overdo those things a little bit.
Yes.
We overdo them.
I can relate.
And at that point, it becomes depleting instead of energizing.
Yeah, definitely. So how do you know when you're ready to move into more Brahmana practices? So you've done your moon, you've settled and calmed the mind. Did I just answer my own question?
You answered your own question
All
there.
right.
Once you feel established and calm, like
Yeah.
once you feel like the capacity to rest is there,
Yeah.
you don't want to be doing these practices when you're anxious.
Yeah, definitely.
Because anxious is stressed,
just
right?
adding fuel to the fire.
Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
exactly it. But it's adding too much fuel to the
Yeah.
fire that's already burning too hot.
Yeah.
And so what we're looking for is to be able to balance out that fire, to be able to find a space where we can actually find some restfulness, some softness, some slowness, some steadiness, and then just add a little bit of fuel to the fire. You add a log instead of a barrel of unleaded 95 octane.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds like a lot.
It's a lot of fuel.
Okay.
But you add something that's going to help you to sustain that energy, right? Something to wake you up in the morning and get you moving, but not so much that it's going to deplete you in the long run.
Yeah. And if we see yoga as a energy management system, we want to be sustaining our prana or our energy levels from, this moment until our last.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we just want to think about the application of these kinds of practices. Something that we talk about often is this idea of titration.
Yeah.
Anything's a medicine. Literally everything is a medicine. But what makes it a medicine is the dosage. And you can overdose on any kind of medicine. And at that point, it becomes a poison.
Yeah.
And so with these Brahmana practices, we're thinking about how much stress is the right amount of stress that it won't deplete us, but it will build our resilience. This is the idea of Brahmana. You do just enough to help you to continue to build that resilience. Without agitating you, without pushing you over the edge where you feel exhausted and you fall into a heap, but finding that capacity to do a little bit of work, a little bit of heating work in your practice. And so this is very intimately related to the breath, because energy is related to breath, pranayama is related to breath, and pranayama is the practice that allows us to expand our energy. So we want to be able to expand in a safe way, right? If we do too much, it just ends up depleting us. And so we really do need to be careful. And this is why we explore these three different ideas of Langana being the slowing down, calming, descending energy, Brahmana being the speeding up, heating, ascending energy, and Samana, which brings them both to balance. It's the holding of the two that makes this really important for us. Now, when we are talking about this in relation to practice, we're talking about speeding things up. So we're talking about, in relation to breath, things like the Kapalabhati, the Bhastrika, the Mukha Bhastrika,
Really
these
powerful breathing techniques.
powerful, deep, quick
Yeah.
breaths. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And they feel really good for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because they are inherently stimulating.
And for anyone who hasn't done these practices before, how do you feel coming out of them?
You feel energized.
Yeah.
Should we do a little...
Oh, okay.
Okay, if you're driving...
Just had lunch, but that's okay.
If you're driving, don't do this.
No.
Keep your hands on the wheel. If you're not driving, just try this with us. We're just going to do 10 rounds of Bhastrika. First, I want you to just notice how you feel now, right? I feel... We just had lunch. Selena made us a beautiful curry, but it was potato. It was heavy.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit heavy right now. So we're gonna see what this feels like. Let's do it together. So as I breathe in through my nose, I reach my hands up, and then I breathe out through the mouth, pursing my lips. And then I breathe in and out. In, out. Luna gets a bit stressed when we do this. Out. 5 more. It's chaos on the podcast today, Nini. Last one. Okay. I feel like I have more energy. And what I can tell you is that Luna's energy...
Yeah, if she could pick it up.
That was exactly it. She could feel it, right? And this is Brahmana. Yeah. It's not just that we were breathing in a more heavy way, but the way that we were breathing, that energy that we were putting out into the room, like it affected Luna, who is such a receptive little creature, to the point that it agitated her as well. And this is the power of these practices. And I think what's really cool about this is that once you understand cause and effect through practice, you can listen, oh, how do I feel right now? I need a little bit more energy. I'll do this quick little breathing exercise to pick me up.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have to do that for an hour.
And the effect's almost instant.
Yeah.
If you know what you want, you're aware of your body, how you're feeling, and you know the practices, it can be a really powerful tool to move you along your path or get you to wherever you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. And so we just need to make sure that when we're choosing the practices, there's some intention behind what we're choosing and why we're choosing it. But if we don't understand these 3 energetic effects, Langana, Samana, Brahmana, we can't understand what we need.
Yeah.
Then we're just kind of throwing stuff in a pot.
Yeah.
And hoping for the best. When we know the outcome of the practice, we can be intentional and we can actually get the result that we're looking for out of our yoga practice. And that's what really makes these practices powerful. All right, let's see what the texts have to say. This one is just... Second chapter, Hatha Yoga Pradipaka. It says, one should practice Bhastrika Pranayama 10 times daily.
Would you recommend that for the regular average yogi?
It depends. It really does depend. But what I would say to this is just this idea that it only recommends 10 times.
Okay.
And this is 10 times per sit for pranayama. That it's like we so often will see people practicing 50 rounds of Bhastrika in a sit, right? Really breathing heavily for a long period of time. And I think this is so important because it just says, no, 10. 10 breaths is 1 round of Bhastrika. That's what you're going to do. Then inhale, hold the breath. That's your Bhastrika pranayama. Now you know how to do it. Be careful though. If you have a border collie, she doesn't like it.
It's a great practice to do in the morning.
Yeah, and this is it. It's like if you're waking up feeling groggy, before you have a coffee,
really important.
Do 10 rounds of Bhastrika. Notice that effect. What does it feel like for you? Okay, so next one from Hatha Yoga Pradipaka. Again in the second chapter, it says, when the breath moves, the mind moves. When the breath is still, the mind becomes still. And this I've added in because it kind of speaks to this cause and effect thing, right? That what is happening in the breath is affecting the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if the breath is moving, the mind is moving. If your mind feels stagnant, start moving the breath and the mind will start to work.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But if your mind is feeling anxious, then slow down the breath.
Yeah.
And that will calm the mind. I was talking with Millie in one of the other episodes. We were talking about how we see the breath as the barometer for the nervous system. That you can really see how much stress or rest you're feeling on a physiological level by watching, observing the breath. That naturally, when you start to feel stressed, your breath will start to speed up, get shorter and shallower and faster. But when you relax, your breath will naturally start to slow down. Right? You might take a big breath in, sigh it out, and everything slows down. So I thought that was an interesting piece. Okay, now the last one comes from Grana Samhita, and this is specifically talking about Kapalabhati, but it says Kapalabhati is renowned by the yogis. It destroys the impurities and eliminates the kapha dosha. And I think this is really important for us to understand Brahmana, right? Is that kapha dosha is what? It's what elements?
The earth and water.
Earth and water. And so the kapha type people tend to be more stagnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy, lethargic sometimes.
And it's the kapha people who need the most of this Brahmana practice.
Yeah.
Now, this is why I wanted to add this in, is because traditionally when we look at yoga and Ayurveda, they're not separate things. Yoga and Ayurveda are sister sciences. And so when we're looking at yoga, we're looking at it through the lens of the doshas. And if you can understand your Ayurvedic doshas, then you can understand what practices are going to be the most beneficial, the most nourishing for you. And so if you're a kapha type, these Brahmana practices, the pumping breaths, moving a little bit faster, getting things happening, getting things moving, pushing, finding a little bit of effort, they help to pacify the kapha dosha. And this is what we're working with in doshas. We're not trying to increase any of the doshas, but if a dosha gets too high, that means an imbalance becomes too high that it starts to create symptoms, then we want to employ practices to start to reduce that dosha.
So what does this mean for the pitta and vata types?
Okay. So we need to think back to those other episodes. The pitta types and the vata types need grounding.
Okay.
Vata especially needs a langana. And what do we say about samana? It was gathering the fire, right? And that's what the pitta needs. It needs to be gathered up so that it can be utilized in a way that's going to be supportive for us. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So the kaphas need the Brahmana. They need a kick up the ass, as my grandma would say. The vata types, they need to slow things down, calm and ground. So that langana, downward descending movement of energy is going to be helpful. The pittas, they need to be balanced out, right? Because the fire is burning too hot.
Yeah.
So we need to balance them out.
Is that a black and white rule?
I mean, it's always going to be dependent on the person.
That's true.
But general rule for those three, like the pittas, you don't want to give them any kind of extreme because they'll stick to it and they'll go with that forever. You tell the pitta to slow down, they'll be as slow as a snail.
Yeah.
And if you tell them to speed up, they'll be the fastest on the planet. It's just like they have that tendency towards competition. And so we say no extremes for pitta types. Okay. So I think this is helpful for us. And these really are like, they make energy practical. And I really love that because it's like we can sit and listen. And it's like, if you're tired, then you can energize yourself, right? And if you're anxious, then you can calm yourself down. And I think so often we think of energy as woo-woo, but it's actually just like how much energy do you have available to you today?
Yeah.
And
Your energy levels.
Yeah, it's like I've got lots of energy today. I'm bouncing off the walls, or I don't have enough energy today. I have low energy today. I'm tired. It's kind of obvious, but then we try to make energy this kind of like subtle woo-woo, intangible experience.
Yeah.
When we, in these three directions, we make it so simple.
I mean, quite simply, you could think about it as a shot of coffee.
Mm.
You know, you drink it when you're tired, when you need that energy, but would you have that before bed?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah. Sometimes we'll talk about pranayama techniques in this way. Instead of calling them Brahmana, Langana, and Samana, we'll call them water, whiskey, and coffee.
Okay. I like
and so
that.
the Brahmana is the coffee.
Yeah.
Because it's going to stimulate you. The whiskey is the Langana because it's going to calm you down. And the water's good at any time. So that's the Samana. That's the balancing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Never all three at once.
Never all three at once. No, I'll put you on your ass. Okay, so let's talk about this in practice. It's everything that we've kind of been speaking about already, but we're talking about the kriyas, right? Specifically the shat kriyas, the pumping breath. We're moving the breath in and out very quickly. We're kind of using these in rounds to energize ourselves. We are like speeding up our practice, maybe moving through Surya Namaskar with a little bit more pace. We're adding some more strength elements to our practice. We are heating things up in every sense. And then we just want to be able to monitor for the signs of high pitta, like if that's causing aggravation to the pitta dosha, where there's kind of acidity or something like that coming up. Or we want to monitor for signs of like mental agitation. If you're starting to become a bit more reactive, angry, if you are kind of like starting to overheat and those kinds of things, then you want to back it off a little bit. But we're starting to just find the right amount of stress for us as an individual within our yoga practice.
So I see how you can apply this to your asana practice, you know, doing your Surya Namaskars, faster pace. I can see how you can apply it to your pranayama practice, more energizing breaths. Can you apply this to your meditation practice?
That's a great question. Yeah, so there are types of meditation which have more movement involved in them. Like think Kriya practices.
Yeah.
I'm inhaling from the space in front of my nostrils up into my midbrain, from my midbrain down to the base of my spine, inhaling from the base of the spine back to the midbrain. Like you can create more movement within meditation when you need to. Or I can just meditate on this one still object or just the perception of feelings. So yeah, I think with anything and the pranayama techniques that you choose leading into that meditation will already give the mind that alertness. And then you just use alertness as the object of your meditation. So yeah, of course. Now, when we step off of our mat and out of our practice, we can use this to help us to reintegrate or re-engage with life when we've dropped off. You know, like sometimes you just, I think we're all getting to that point in the studio at the moment where it's just like we've been doing a little bit too much. There's been a lot happening. We're running 2 trainings at once. We're trying to record the podcast 4 months in advance. There's a lot going on. And so that tends to lead us into a little bit of an internalized, quieter way of being. And in life, Brahmana would be that re-engagement or re-emergence, right? It's kind of the movement back into social engagement and social interactions. It's kind of learning to rekindle our excitement and enthusiasm and bring back that kind of like passion for life is Brahmana. Finding things that you're excited about again and then just going out and pursuing them.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid of the stressful practices, but approach them with care, approach them with caution, and use them only when they are necessary. Just like You don't have to have 5 coffees a day. If you're still having 5 coffees a day, what are you doing? Cut it back. Just one. One is enough.
Yeah. Coffee with intention.
Coffee with intention.
Yeah.
Let's make coffee intentional again.
Exactly.
Anyway, I think that's it for us today.
Yeah.
What do you think? You got anything else you want to add?
I think we covered it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've got something that I want to add.
Oh.
I want to add that we have a 200-hour teacher training happening very, very soon. It is happening in July this year in Sri Lanka. I'm so excited. Sri Lanka is one of the most beautiful countries. We have incredible food. We have coconuts as much as we like. We have a beautiful venue, and we get to lock in and learn all about Hatha Yoga for 3 weeks straight. After that 200-hour training, I have a retreat where if you don't want to learn, if you don't want to do the studying, if you just want to come, practice, Lena and I will be there, and we will be guiding you through an incredible retreat. And then, by the time this airs, my 300-hour program has just launched. So if you are already a yoga teacher and you want to explore the depths of yoga and really refine your teaching skills in 2026 going on 2027, and then early next year catch up with me in India in person for a 2-week immersion, check out the website because I have so much to offer you in 2026. If you enjoy the podcast, send it to someone that you love, best yoga friend. We love you. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll see you next time.
Hariom.
Hariom.